as we see live today, again, as usual, but it's not as usual live, of course. Today is a different day. Today is a new day, great day, and a day of hope and to create something new as well. So welcome to this brand new program, brand new day, and of course the guest, not the brand new as well, but it is the continuation. But it doesn't matter, right? We're talking different, something new today, and I'm sure you're having also a new day. So welcome to this program. So it's a joint program doing alongside with Key Leadership Institute from South Africa, and the founder and co-founder is with us, Miss Arthie Moore, who is John Maxwell Certified trainer, speaker, and coach. Arthie, can you say hello to everybody? Just so.
Assalamu alaikum, namaste, hello to everybody, good evening.
Oh, fantastic, covered everything, right. And the next to him, the red man, glowing, and fantastic. So this is the co-founder of Key Leadership Institute, and he's the President's Advisory Council member and Executive Director, John Maxwell team, the world's #1 leadership guru. Yeah, and
Robert. Well, my friends, and of course, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to be with you. And I look forward to, for all three of us here, to add value to anybody who's partaken. And I also hope that everybody who's here will like and share this, but even more so important, that they will ask questions so we can engage with you while we're going through this in the next 90 minutes.
Absolutely. So what else you could expect for? Definitely. So we want you to be in with us. It means wholeheartedly. It means you are actively participating with us, and we really want to talk to you in person. We really want to have your thoughts, views, ideas, expressions, disagreement, agreement, anything and everything. Yes, I think that's going to bring the best out of it, like a lemon squeezed, and we get the juice out of it. Let's squeeze everybody and just let's start. Ian, how is going? Arthie and Ian, how is going everything?
Well, for us, it's going brilliantly because this lockdown, as much as it has a lot of negative effects on many people around the world, we've taken a mindset of this is the time to actually take a step back and look at what can we do differently and realign and create a lifestyle that we want. And so I think it's exciting for us because I think gratitude is playing a huge role for us in helping us to stay positive and to have a good mindset when everything around us seems to be falling apart. So, I mean, we're having an amazing time developing and creating on our side.
How about you? Yeah, you must be very excited today. You are glowing.
Yeah. It's a sunshine out here, but I'm always excited. Life is exciting, and I always think that if we can wake up every morning when so many people don't, especially in these uncertain times, then we should be really excited, because that means we've got another chance to do it all over again. Whether we did it wrong yesterday, we can grow ourselves and do it better today. So I'm always just blessed to be alive, and I love what we do as well. And to be able to work together with like-minded and like-thinking people is even more of a blessing. So how better to start a week than doing these kind of things together?
Yes. Yes. So that's the thing. I want to ask everybody in Bangla. So আমি সবাইকে বলতে চাই, what is the one thing today you are grateful for? And it's in your mind coming up. আমরা যদি একটু share করি. So what is the one thing? So that is, if you can share with us what is going inside you. It's maybe the gratitude, maybe the blessings, maybe the feeling. So if you want to express the one word, we want to see what the one word is coming up from everyone's mind, and also from the Zoom session. I'm going to share the Zoom ID in the Facebook as well. So that if any one of you want to participate, you can. Meanwhile, just do type in one word. What is the expression from you? Let's see. who puts what word today. So we want to see mindfulness. Mindfulness. Oh, fantastic. So let's see. That's a great word, isn't it? Jan and Arthie. Mindfulness. So that means Habib Bonik is mindful today.
Mindfulness is actually a fantastic word because that shows the depth of the way the person is thinking. It is a lot more deeper than just having a thought. Mindfulness makes you take a step back, evaluate where you're at, and think more thoughtfully about where you're heading in life. And it allows you to respond. And it reduces a lot of stress, and it reduces a lot of frustration and sadness, and all of the dark emotions that a lot of people have. I see Rashid Noman says humble. And I love that. That's beautiful, because I think being humble in a time like this is something that is very important, because it helps a lot of people who are battling or suffering, and they're in different areas. And I've noticed those have taken over, and they have forgotten how to be grateful for their lives, and to humble themselves, to understand other people's situations. Then there's cheerful. That's exciting.
Right.
Mehenika. Cheerful is stunning, because that is something very infectious, and it allows you to uplift other people. So even if you're not feeling so good, your energy builds other people, which is stunning. Hopeful is brilliant, because I think that to have hope in a time like this helps us to guide and support people more meaningfully. I'm grateful. Shukriya, Habib. Habib says thank you and grateful to you. We're grateful to all of you actually taking the time to be on this call. And I think that we need to, if we look at all of the words put together, we are mindful of the fact that it takes a lot of time and effort, and it takes a lot of intention to be in calls like this. It is humbling for us to be able to connect with all of you. We're hopeful that having you on this call, we will be connecting with like-minded people, having fun conversations today. So we're lucky
Good
to
thought.
have all of you.
Yep. Good vibe all around, right? So, great. So I have shared the Zoom link in the Facebook as well. So if any one of you wants to jump into, I have the pin post on the Facebook Live, our page. Just go and get into and join with us. So what we are going to do tonight is we're going to talk about definitely the how we are building our confidence, steps to build our self-image. So, and that is again based on the book, based on this book as well. So who is our friend, mentor, and the world's #1 leadership coach. So let's talk about the steps to build your self-image, how we can build it. At the same time, I want to ask all of you here, those who are joining with us and listening and watching with us. So from the John Maxwell's book, 15 Laws of Invaluable, 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, we are going to talk about from the chapter 3 and chapter 4. So specifically, how we can create our self-image, and here he talks, the guard your self-talk. That is building our image inside. The more we talk about ourselves, that is, a lot of people says the positive affirmation, a lot of people says, how do we imagine ourselves, and that comes out. What you see, what you think, that comes out. How you want to illustrate this?
Well, one of the things that for me, main thing that we need to look at is how good is our self-esteem. Because one of the things they talk about is that when we're looking at self-talk, we always worry about we keep that resonate at how other people are. We compare ourselves to people, and we listen to their words that belittles us or demeans us, and we don't realize that subconsciously we're the challenge though is that if we don't look at our self-talk and how we are and the results we're getting from our actions, then we're not being originated from. So if you took something as simple as symptoms and somebody is drinking, that is a symptom. It's a symptom and it's an action and it's a coping mechanism. When somebody's overeating, overindulging, you know, people talk about emotional eating, that is a symptom. What they're not asking, you gotta ask yourself, what they're not asking is what caused that? Where did it begin that we started to feed our bodies in the wrong way, just to soothe ourselves? And with the things that I've been studying and even reading this chapter, the thing that success, because the way people treated us, our circumstance, or we can actually look at it and as an grow into somebody better. So when you look at the sentences where they say all people have the seeds of success, all they need to do is cultivate and they begin to grow. So even with young, you've done mind power a lot with martial arts. Our minds. So I mean, if you talk about self-talk, what is your ideas of, because remember when you were bullied at 17, what was the thing that caused you to grow rather than stagnate?
Yeah, well, I wasn't bullied at 17. I was 5, 6 years old until 12. I was 6'4". I was 1.90 meters when I was 12 years old, and they stopped bullying me. But what I recognized in me is that for the next, therefore I maybe have now a little bit more understanding and empathy for other people as well, because the bullies stopped, but the bully saw myself not worthy. I still saw myself as useless. And I mean, I was always the class clown. On the outside, I looked happy, but on the inside, I was very miserable. And I think when we teach this to young people as well, it is always very important the words you use, because walked in their shoes, and you know, you can't help their self-talk by giving them negative talk on top of. And I also have I made a conscious decision many years ago that I would never buy a newspaper and things that will help me, not books, not information that will harm me. Yes, we cannot stop all the negative information going into our head, but we can certainly become more aware of that negative information, how much of it goes in and how much we accept. And you know, in the martial arts, we talk about reacting and responding. And that's the same in life. Are you proactive or are you reactive? And if you become proactive, even in your own head, you know, I've had conversations with myself, and anybody who says, no, I'm not, and in a quiet voice, that's exactly that conversation I'm talking about. We all have them. And I have had conversations with myself where I had to catch myself saying negative things. And I told myself, you know, inside that I had to stop that. But it's once you become aware of what kind of self-talk you've got, only then can you do something about it. But in the meantime, it is already very helpful that you actually stop some of this, because there is something that said garbage in, garbage out, and it's a bit of a negative connotation. And somebody started a kind of site, and they called it Kiko, quality in, quality out, and I like that much better. It's more positive. So if we are surrounding ourselves with positive people, if we're surrounding ourselves with more positive material, if we read more positive things, if we listen to more positive things, those will help make us more positive. And it's not an overnight thing. It's going to take time. But every day we do something to, we talk about intentional living as well. If we do something to become more positive and feed this to become more positive, our self-talk will improve. And as Arthie said, self-talk, it'll destroy you or it'll make you successful. And that's the first thing, the first voice you hear in the morning, the last voice you hear at night. And the question is, and the question to everybody, what is it you switch on first thing in the morning? Is it your news or the radio with some negative stuff? What is the last thing you hear at night? Is it negative news, or are you reading something, watching something, having a positive conversation? It is very important, first thing in the morning, last thing at night, because even last thing at night, what you think about, you bring about, and if you, some people, especially young people, they watch a horror film and they wake up during the night with a nightmare. And that is a perfect proof that the last thing you hear at night or watch at night will affect you during your sleep. So does it not make more sense that if we want to become more positive and have a better self-talk, that we actually do something positive to make sure that actually happens? But this is the how. Positive in the morning, positive lasting at night. It sets you up in the morning for the whole day, and it sets you up at night for a much more peaceful and sleepful night.
Absolutely. I want to speak a little bit in Bangla. আমি আমাদের অডিয়েন্সের জন্য সেটা হলো যে অনেক সময় যেটা হয় আমরা যেটা করি আমাদের ভিতর থেকে যেটা আসে আমাদের অনেক সময় মাইন্ড বলে হার্ট বলে যেটাকে আমরা বলি যে ইনার ভয়েস যেটা বলে যে আমি পারছি না বা আমি পারবো না বা এটা কি আমার দ্বারা হবে এটা কি আমি করতে পারবো তো এগুলো দিস আর দি ডাউট এরকম আমার অনেক সময় হয় আপনাদের কি কখনো হয়েছে কিনা বা হয় কিনা যে না এটা আমার পক্ষে সম্ভব নয় অথবা ইয়ান যেটা বলছিল যে আমরা অনেক সময় যেটা করি কনসিয়াসলি আমরা হরর মুভি দেখি অথবা কনসিয়াসলি আমরা সব সময় যে কথাগুলো সবসময় শুনতে থাকি ডেজ এন্ড নাইটস সকাল দুপুর বিকালে যে crisis and crisis so what happens then automatically inside builds up the crisis and crisis automatically isn't it I think you got something right so that's what it is happening now right more than anything in today's world in this global crisis everybody now switch on to the social media to the television the digital media and everywhere even in the friends talk the discussions all the conversations everywhere actually centering to the crisis and then people are now seeing oh crisis is coming and they start to believe I am into the crisis now I am into the all of a sudden discovering tension anxiety frustration and inside the crisis then discover that's what's happening isn't it
Yes, I think so too. You are so right that because we focus so much on and we are helped by the media, of course, and social media. We are helped so much to believe, not only to think into the negative things, but actually believe what they say. And that's a whole different conversation. How much of it is true and how much of it isn't. But I mean, we are all on lockdown. We are all there is people losing their jobs. We can talk about all the negative, but the only thing, and I think it's the next thing is about comparisons. Don't compare yourself with others. I think it's the next one, but I can already speak into that because it's not only don't compare yourself with other people. Also, don't compare yourself with what's happening out there, because out there is not a reflection on you. It's a reflection on the people who put that in the media. They want you to believe. They want you to follow the same track. For example, I haven't. We had a conversation in another mastermind about another John Maxwell book earlier today about this very thing, and I said I never compare myself to other people, because that comparing yourself to others, there's only two things. If you are better than somebody else, it might make you feel good, and then you stagnate because you're already better than somebody else. Or if you feel worse than somebody else, you might think I'm not worthy, and you're never going to try in the first place. The bits in between don't really happen. Because we're not the same as everybody else, and I think the only one you should be better tomorrow is the one you actually look in the mirror every day. So if you can be a better you, so do something today. Again, in this crisis, to grow through this crisis, if we can just make sure that today we do something to make ourselves better, we are much more guaranteed that tomorrow will be better for us and also for the people around us. Because have you ever been in a group of people that are very negative? If you stay with them long enough, you feel drained. You want to get out of there. Now, you can be that negative person or you can be that positive person. And every day, that is a choice you can make. And because, I mean, another book by Viktor Frankl, where he says Man's Search for Meaning, he actually talks about this and he says, one thing, and it's very important at this time, because we can complain, we can moan, we can blame, I call it blame storming, we can blame everybody, the government, the company, the community, we can blame everybody. And again, it's a form of comparison as well, because I mean, we are given all our gifts away, but the only person, the things that nobody can ever take away from us. And this Viktor Frankl, he was a person who was in the concentration camps 75 years ago. But it says the only thing they can never take away from me is your freedom to choose, your freedom to choose your own attitude. Now, if you don't choose that for you, and you get disheartened because you compare yourself to somebody who's better than you, you give your freedom away to somebody else. And you need to take that freedom back right now, at this time, because we're all and I already congratulate everybody who's online at the moment who will watch this later, because the reason you're here is because Kamrul has done an amazing job, and he always advertises personal growth and development for not only the youth of Bangladesh and the adults of Bangladesh, but around the world. And he wants you to share, to grow with us, because we are doing this not only for your growth, we're also doing it for our growth. And that's why we want to see many questions in the comments box, and we will talk into that. I'm sure Kamrul will host that as well as they come through. But we need to make sure that we become aware of our choices and we make our own choices. And the best choice you can make every day is not compare yourself to others, but make a choice every day to become intentional, like we're trying to do every day, and become better. Now, you might not succeed every day, but at least you can learn the lessons from it. And tomorrow, all being well and we're blessed, we get another opportunity.
Absolutely. So I often say that what actually happens, we begin to compare ourselves, our chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 3, maybe chapter 5, maybe chapter 10. And then we get frustrated because we don't know what that person actually gone through. And we see the shiny part, only their life, but we don't see their struggle part behind. All the stars, all the big businessmen that you see, they have the big vehicles, big building, big things, those things we want to, right? And then we start comparing, and then we start whining ourselves. So it doesn't. I mean, it only brings misery inside, rather than self-growth, because it only holds us back. And that's the next thing, that how can we move beyond our limiting beliefs? And this is also one kind of belief that actually hooks us towards the comparison, that we got to compare with somebody else. And this limiting belief actually coming from the past, the circumstances, situations, the grown-ups, the educations, upbringing, the society rules, the education institutions, and then I call it, we know it, bullshit rules, and then in brief, it's bullshit rules. So that is actually governing us. What do you want to say about it? These limiting beliefs.
I don't like rules. I
That's why it
absolutely
is
don't
rules.
like rules. Yeah. No, because I just feel that rules are made as a guidance, right? For society not to behave without values and without principles. The problem, though, is that when we get so stuck on rules, we miss the point of the human being. Because the rules of language, culture, religion, gender issues, laws, belief systems, all defines how we're supposed to behave according to a few people who decided that is the perfect way. that a right society works. When you take that back into your home, then you impose those beliefs on the people around you in your relationship with your children. And you can't understand why nobody wants to be in the same room with you. Why, when you talk and you speak up, you've got no empathy in that moment for the situation. All you've got stuck in your head is your rules that you want to impose on people. And so what happens is that when you look at self-limiting beliefs, it is things that we imposed on ourselves based on the rules that other people gave to us that we allowed to define our lives. And when we realign our self-limiting beliefs, what we do is we realize that all we have done is we've allowed other people's limitations and experiences to be what we imposed upon ourselves. And if we look at it from that way, we then understand that what other people believe about us has got nothing to do with us and is not a reflection on us. So now if we take those rules to another level, we realize that at some point we have choice. We have choice to either accept the way they speak to us and about us, or to move on in life. So when you look at with the self-limiting beliefs, they say that when a man has put a limit on what he will do, he has put a limit on what he can do. And so there are certain success principles that Jack Canfield talks about in the book. He's got four things that he talks about, which is really interesting, about how can you now, we've been talking about the self-limiting beliefs in all of these different areas, but what can we do differently to remove the self-talk in these beliefs? He says, identify a limiting belief that you want to change. The second one, determine how the beliefs limits you. Thirdly, decide how you want to be, act, or feel. Then create a turnaround statement that affirms or gives you permission to be, act, or feel in this new way. Now, what they're talking about there, and what we've experienced through mind power training, this is how you realign your subconscious and your conscious beliefs. So your subconscious or your unconscious mind is actually storing a lot of information. And then your conscious beliefs will enact everything. Those are the actions based on your beliefs. Now, to realign this, you need to actually look at your self-talk. Do you belittle yourself every day? Do you say, hey, I'm not good enough? When somebody gives you a compliment, you immediately say, they only say that because they want something from me. When somebody actually says that you are worthy, do you accept that? Or inside you, you're asking, what's the catch? So when you start to catch your mind, saying things, that is self-talk. When you're looking at somebody and you anticipate negativity, what you're doing is you're actually creating an energy charge in you that encourages and entices them without you even thinking about it, for them to actually not give you the compliment or to connect with you in a meaningful way, because your energy actually is now changing the way they feel about themselves. So if you're always depressed, you're always angry, you're always negative, you're always looking at the bad side of things, crises are happening around the world, but the whole world has not fallen apart. Some people have. And the reason we know that is because those are the loudest people on social media and on TV and on radio and in newspapers. And if you keep connecting with people like that, it's obvious you're going to become like that. So your self-talk is very important, because who do you surround yourself with in terms of people who encourage and help you build yourself? And so when you look at the mind power side of the self-talk, reaffirm and create a beautiful, powerful, meaningful statement that resonates with you. So if I had to change self-talk from, if in my head I thought I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I'll never have a good relationship, I'll never get married, I'll never have an amazing life, I'll never have a house. If I had to change that into a statement, something that is powerful and realistic and emotional, it would sound something like this. I'm a powerful being who resonates with amazing consciousness. I deserve the best in life, and I encourage and entice the most incredible people into my life. I am a powerful, incredible being that resonates stunning energy that allows me to accomplish everything that I put my mind to. Now, you see the difference in the way that I'm speaking consciously will realign the subconscious belief systems. And then that allows us to now adjust the way we speak about ourselves. And if we just looked at affirmations for relationship, for home, for business, for anything, health, we then start to realize we've always been in control of the results we get in our lives. And so it's no longer a situation, it's no longer other people's rules. It's the rules you've now put upon yourself that is the key, that you've got to take a step back and understand that you've always been responsible for your own success. It's nobody else's fault.
Very powerful. I just want to give one example of self-talk, and that is often I give. That is a tiger looking at the mirror and trying to understand who he is, and then he sees himself, the cat. The cat is just reflection coming out from the mirror, and then he thinks, "Oh, I'm a cat, small cat." But it's a tiger looking at the mirror, and he forgets his power and he started being, I'm a meow meow cat, small cat. And then if he continuously looking at the mirror, the tiger one day would start like meow meow. You'd forget completely his roaring voice. What do you think? Give us this. Now I just wanted to bring this synergy, because he would forget one day he's a tiger. He would then start believing he's a cat, because he looks himself, he thinks himself, he mirrors himself, and he starts then believing. I want to ask you, like the audience, it might be a funny example to be, but hey, we the best creation in the earth and planet ever made by the creator, by the God and Almighty, whatever we say it. How often we think that we are the best powerful and we can do everything possible and we have the abilities. How often you have researched with this revibration and calibration within this, with self-talk and power and belief. If it is not, we are nothing less than looking at the mirror and reflecting as a cat. What would you say on that?
I mean, I always love that photo, and I remember it vividly, and I think it's very important. And another one where limiting beliefs come in is because what has society and our environment done to us to make us believe in a limit that we cannot be. And if you, in the book it says as well, I think by the time we're 17, everybody has had 150,000 no's and only 5,000 yeses. That's 30 to 1. And then our parents wonder why we become so negative. But what you mentioned animals, and I'll also like the one where how they train elephants. A baby elephant has a rope on his leg and stuck to a pin. Now, when he grows up, that elephant could not only rip the rope out, he could rip the pin out of the ground and then some. But he will, when he has that rope on his leg, he will never leave, because and there's so many examples like that. But he has been programmed that he cannot do. That he cannot escape from the prison of his own mind, really. And that's what most humans are like. They have that rope around their leg. I wouldn't say around their neck, but I mean at least around their leg, and they're stuck to the past. Because that elephant, what really happened, the conditioning he's had came from the past, not from right now. So that means if a powerful elephant can be held by a simple rope, not a massive chain, a simple rope. People are so much more complicated, but they get so much more negative information into their mind, and they take it as the truth, and they've been programmed as the truth, and yet they will be stuck to that place forevermore and look back, and the rest of their life, when they come to the end of their life, they look back and I hope that most of our, I mean, again, there's more and more people coming online, and I hope that nobody ever wants to go through life and at the end of their life say, well, you know, it was okay, but I wish I had done. Because Les Brown, my friend, the mentor, always says that the richest, the biggest riches are not the diamonds mines in South Africa and the oil fields in the Middle East or the stock markets. They are in the graveyard. Now, my question is, if you want to, exactly there. If my question to each and every one taking part of is, you know, what do you want to do with the rest of your life, and when are you going to start doing this? Because tomorrow will never come. And if you think you cannot do it, that thinking, and it's a different process altogether, but the thinking is because of the results you've got now is because of past thinking, not the thinking you've got right now. And we have a values-based leadership program where we finish off every week by thoughts become actions, actions become habits, and habits become your destiny. That means the good news is if you change your thoughts, you'll change your destiny. So that's why, and that's why I love these people being on here sharing with us and learning with us, because this kind of stuff is for your personal development. This changes our, I mean, I'm learning from you right now and from Arthie as we sit online, and I'm sure we also learn from the people who are going to ask questions. But this is changing our destiny, what we're doing right now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, right now. And tomorrow is another right now. Next week we'll be back to this another right now. There is no better time than now. And I also say to people, you know, when you're online here and at least you enjoy what is being talked about here, and if you have got any questions, but also like and share it. You know, if you enjoy it, don't keep it to yourself. The more people you can spread personal development to, the more you can grow together. And when you grow together, it's like a mastermind. Synergy happens. That means that 1 and 1 is not just 2 anymore. 1 and 1 becomes 3. So you grow together much faster, much better, much more encouraged than on your own.
You just only reminded me about the Les Brown. You know, he's my good friend. You know, I know you are. He said, you got to be hungry. You got to be hungry, right, for that. And my dear friend, he said, use your life. How best you're using your life, so that you don't, you don't go to the graveyard and then think, I haven't used it. But there is no chance to think.
Yeah.
No.
So this chance is only once. We got to
and I know
use
the people
it thoroughly.
online. Yeah, and I know the people online here are hungry because that's why they're here. And you got to be hungry, you know. And I mean that's his one statement, of course, you know. And it's wonderful that we can share and learn with you.
Hey, but I thought they broke fast and ate already.
Yeah, 8 o'clock at night. Yeah.
So, okay, that's really great. So wonderful. So we want to have your thoughts, question, comments on that. You know, how do we actually, you know, change and transform? You know, I think it's possible within a year to transform complete 180 degree. So we want to have your thoughts, question, and comments, and maybe we can talk about it definitely. So we can onboard the people. So that's what the second thing. Another thing is to transform our life is practice a small discipline daily in a specific area of life. That's what one of the principles says. Principle number 6, right? And also on 5, do the right thing even if it is the hard thing. So only if we are hungry, we can do this hard thing correct, and we can do the things every day repetitively. Otherwise, no, it's going to be difficult.
You know, when he's talking about a small discipline in a specific area of your life, they talk about if something overwhelms you, chip away at it in small ways daily to build your confidence. So if you're overwhelmed by a big project, don't sit and wait until the end and then put yourself under pressure and then give less than your best. Build your confidence by learning more from other people, ask questions from people around you, and then work on it every single day. And you find that your confidence builds in a massive way. I think when you look at self-worth, one of the questions that people are asking themselves when they achieve something, do they celebrate it? Or do they say, well, I wasn't good enough, or I could have done better? they don't take a chance to stop long enough and just celebrate the small victories. And I think that if we're doing the self-discipline part, if we do a little bit every day, you start to find that our mindset changes in a way where we start to feel proud of ourselves, that we are developing ourselves and we're being intentional, and we slowly start to feel happy. And it's that, and I know that happiness is a very big word, because a lot of people are seeking it from others. But if we're doing small things every day to develop ourselves, we can have internal happiness, and we can become more balanced and a lot more calmer in our everyday beliefs and our behaviors. And if people are asking a simple question of how do I know if my self-talk is negative or positive, ask them one simple question. What is one word that describes you right now? Just write down what is one word that describes you. So if somebody had to ask me to describe myself, the word that comes immediately to my mind would be intriguing, because I fascinate myself sometimes, all the time. I love the conversations I have with myself, and I enjoy where my thinking takes me. And so it allows me, when I'm engaging with other people, I find that I entice beautiful, amazing people to me, but that's because I've worked on my belief that I am intriguing, which means that my spirit and my vibration is at a very different level that's more positive. So if you had to choose your word about yourself, how would you describe yourself? What is your one word?
At the moment, I think, and I just thought about it, encouraging. Because this self-talk of mine has changed. If you saw me at 16 and 17 years old, I was destructive, and so much destructive. I tell you, at 16-year-olds, I had a stomach ulcer, which only stressful business people and adults get. Youngsters don't get them. And the thing is, once I changed at 17, I said I can't do this anymore, because there was days that I was not functional because of the stomach ulcer. But I said to myself at 17, somebody handed me, I made a decision, and it's strange. Once you make the decision to change your life, things start happening in your life that would never have happened if you hadn't made the decision. And in my life at 17, so there is, when we've got young people here, it's not only for adults or older people. Yeah, at 17-year-old, I drew a line in the sand and it says, no more, I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't live the rest of my life like this. And what happened was somebody handed me a book. I can't even remember who it is, but it had How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's an old book, unfortunate title for some people, but it started my journey of personal development. And within, I think, I don't even know if it was as much as a year, maybe only 6 months. Within 6 months, my ulcer had disappeared. No medical treatment. My ulcer had disappeared, because your thinking can kill you or heal you. I get it in martial arts as well. So if your mind is not powerful either way, please decide that you're gonna be disciplined enough. Because there's another thing when you both of you just talked about discipline. It was a discipline for me. It came easy because I didn't only make the decision, I followed it with action, and that's what happens after decision. And I do this to this day. But the discipline was simple enough because I have done this, and I'm sure anybody who's online at the moment might have done this before. We want to do things, but we have reasons. We have, and I mean, reasons like this that we cannot do. And if we really look at ourselves, the self-talk gets involved, and we are really making excuses. And when we're talking about time, we don't need time management. We all have time. If I said to somebody, you need to jump on a plane tomorrow, it's not possible at the moment, but say flights were available, you need to jump on a plane tomorrow and you have to go to the United Kingdom because somebody there left you $1 million. I don't think anybody's making an excuse, my boss might not let me go, or I need to do that. No, they'll be on the plane. There is no questions asked, but it's priorities. And I think what I found out for myself is that I didn't lack time, I lacked discipline. And I think that's each and every one of us, is we're honest in our self-talk, if we're honest and look in the mirror and says, and maybe that's because the things we really want to do are not really a priority. That's a nice to have. But if we're really passionate and really, you know, like you as well, Kamrul, you know, you're doing what you do for the betterment of everyone in Bangladesh and way beyond its borders, not because you have to. It's because you've got a passion for the people of Bangladesh and a passion and a vision that you want to make it better. And that's why this is all happening. And also how we got together, because you came to the John Maxwell team in Orlando, and we met already online before that, and we shared a room together, and here we are. But it takes discipline, you know, and I think it doesn't take like massive discipline all the time, as the little disciplines, the things you should be doing every day that will add. And start with little ones, because if you say I'm going to do 6 hours a day of everything every day, no, it's not going to happen. But you can do half an hour today. You could do half an hour tomorrow. Maybe next week you can do 45 minutes. Start small, think big.
Absolutely. So let me also welcome to a lot of people are watching among this, our good friend Sadika Kebi from I think Lebanon, right?
Lebanon, yes.
Lebanon. Sadika, she lives in Beirut. Hi Sadika, how are you doing?
Marhaba, salam, Sadika.
Yeah, salam alaikum, yarhamukumullah, yahdi, yaslu ahbalakum. So in Arabic. So and also a lot of other people. Let me welcome to Mr. Yusuf FT, Imran Iqbal, and everybody. Welcome. Hello Sadika, how are you doing? We remember, right? We met in Orlando as well. So it's fascinating, right? So hope everybody, you know, you're doing great in Lebanon and everyone else. So what is the one word? Salam, walaikum salam. So what is the one word I am asking to everybody watching and joining us with Zoom room as well? So what is the one word that would define you today, right now? What would you express yourself? The one word. Let me see who actually expresses it, and let us know. One word strategy about your life.
What is your word, Kamrul?
My word is persistence. P, and it has 4 P as well. Before that, you want to know that what are the 4 P's? While we are waiting for others, the P for definitely passion, profession, and purpose, potential. So this 4 P together, and then it all needs another P to make all this 4 P happening, and that is persistence. So 5 P's. How about it? So positive thing. So let me see who is thinking what, who is saying. My word is adaptive. Okay, on Facebook, a lot of grateful. Sadika saying is grateful. Yes, fantastic, good. So what is here in the inside the Zoom session? Positive thinking, proactive, logical, punctual. Okay, great.
Synergy.
Okay, good. So yeah, so proactive. So these are the word actually defines like who we are and who actually we are going to be. No, I forgot, who actually said it. If you really, tell me your morning ritual, I would tell you where you're going to go, where you are heading towards.
Yeah.
So maybe this one word, which is coming automatically from everyone's mind, that actually defines the path and journey. Let's talk about this. What are the different words are coming?
Well, I actually asked when I was going through this chapter yesterday. I asked somebody. I asked a young person, what is the one word that would describe him? And now he's an amazing person. Really, really, really wonderful to talk to and listen to. And somebody actually said to me today, he's like a mini Gandhi in terms of his intelligence. But I asked the question, what is the one word that will describe you? And he came up with useless. Now, see, here's the thing, is that what you see on the exterior of a person, no matter how much people are smiling and no matter how much they laugh and joke, we never know what is going on the inside of them. And that is why we've always got to be so gentle with our words and the way we speak to people and the way we talk down to them. And when you were talking about your rules earlier, take a step back and look at whether those rules are for you because you lack discipline, or are you imposing your beliefs on somebody else in the hope that you want them to imitate you? Because you never realize the impact of what that person is thinking and feeling and what your words are defining for what they can become in life. Because when you look at it, they say that in order to take responsibility for your life, we get in life what we are willing to tolerate. So we get in life what we are willing to tolerate. And what we need to do to break that is believe in ourselves that we can become the person we have the potential to become. You see, only we can change the dialogue. Only we can, no matter what other people say, we can't change them. But we can change the dialogue that's going on in our minds. And immediately by listening to the word, it gave me insight, not to what I'm seeing, but to be able to feel where the person is at and to help them grow. And that is why this one word is very important. There are many people on this call who will not be feeling good. They don't feel good enough and they won't type in there. And that's okay. But what I'm saying is be encouraged that once you understand what your word is, and if it's not good, that you have choice, change the word today, right now, this minute, this second, before you get off this call. Change it to the direct opposite, positive, powerful, amazing, meaningful word, because you do deserve the best in life. And I know many people say that, but until you understand that you deserve and that you are worthy, nobody else can give it to you. And so we need to be gentle with ourselves before we can do anything else. We need to be kind to ourselves so that we give ourselves the best, we give ourselves the best chances to grow and to achieve our potential.
Absolutely. So I completely agree with you, and that's what it takes. Take the responsibility for our life. The last principle of this chapter, like taking and owning, like what often we say, we got to own our own life. And often we say, yes, own it. But in reality, we don't, because we don't do what actually takes to do to own the life. That's what matters most. And we want to invite everybody now for a discussion and thoughts in this point, next 15-20 minutes, and maybe in half an hour at most. So everybody to talk about this and how we can actually design our own life and take the own responsibility and hold our life together, so that we don't go and we don't actually repent at the last stage in our life when there is no way. As you said, Les Brown says, all those entrepreneurs, all these big minds, the everything that wanted, that should be, they wanted to become, but they never become. They left the earth and planet. So do you want to be that person? But I'm sure those who are watching here and in this room, they're different, because you are in place where it's not by accident, it's by choice. So that's why we want to invite everybody to talk to us, with us, whatever you're thinking right at this moment, to have your own life, how you are thinking, designing your own life. So I want to invite everybody into this, and then please express yourself and ask questions directly. Let's talk next some minute around this, like what we talked about, the one word strategy, the positive vision, the small discipline, and doing the right thing, and coming out of self-limiting belief, and then self-talk, because these these are absolutely important to design our own life. Can we have our in-house guest, whoever is watching inside with us in the Zoom session? So come forward and ask your questions, comments, and share with the guest. So Jan and Arthie as well. So this is a chance and opportunity to interact and communicate, connect, and express whoever wants. We'll wait for that. Jan, would you want to say anything about the responsibility, taking the responsibility of own life?
Yes, and it is the one important thing. I mean, because as long as we give, I mean, I worked for a boss for quite a while, but I never hated my job. But I knew I should be doing more, and that's me speaking from my own life. And did I give responsibility of my life away? Not completely, but I never blamed my boss for where I was at, because then you give responsibility away. So there's people here who are online just now. They might be working for in an organization and they love what they do, or maybe they don't really love what they do, but they enjoy it enough that they're fairly happy to go through life the way they are. But if you don't follow your passion, then you really need to have if you're especially on lockdown just now, I think it's a great time to actually sit and reflect and say, you know, where am I? Make a list of your good qualities. It's also part of this whole chapter. Make a list of your good qualities you have. And you know, it is astonishing how very few qualities we think we have. And you might even have to have a discussion with a friend or a family member, or maybe the whole family. What do you think is good about me? Because sometimes, and again, Les says it, when you're in the picture, you don't see the frame. But sometimes we just, and that's why also quite often we need coaching, because we want to go somewhere, and it's inside of us, but we can't bring it out ourselves, and somebody from the outside can guide us and help us. But it's to take control of your own life. It doesn't necessarily mean that we all have to become budding entrepreneurs and we have to become big businessmen. Mm-hmm. No, we might feel the significance in our life and have that control in our life when we actually do something for other people. Because again, it's part of this. If you want to feel valuable, add value to others. And it's in the end of this chapter, but I think it's very important, because sometimes we think we can only be valuable when we do stuff for ourselves. That's success. And success is there's nothing bad with it, as long as you do something good with while you're having success, and you actually pay it forward or play it forward and do something more than just for yourself, because that's success. And when you do something for somebody else, it's significance. And I always say significance doesn't take money. It's no reflection on the amount of money you've got, the position you've got, or where you are in life. It is significance is if you actually take your focus off yourself. Yes, we've been talking here about reflecting, but it's not only reflecting on our inside, but what are we doing in life? So if you want to add value to others, start doing something for somebody else. And I've heard great stories around the world, and I'm sure it's the same in Bangladesh as well, that it is in this time of need. There is a lot of people standing up and stepping up just now. Leaders become visible, they said, in times of crisis. And there's people who've actually become, they've actually groomed themselves to become leaders over a period of time. And this is our time. This is your time to stand up. And they are, and it's absolutely amazing, the stories. But the reason a lot of these people keep going, because they have that sense and that feeling of significance. And I say, you know, Mother Teresa felt significant when she started helping one person. That was her aim. And as we know, the rest is history, as they say. But you can do the same. We can all do the same. Help one person, and do something. Help them, maybe connect with them because they're lonely. Maybe ask if you can do something for people where they cannot do anything for themselves. Help a lady with their shopping. You know, there's also, it's the small things, all the small things. And that's how your life becomes worthwhile. It becomes more significant. And when you look back, you think, hey, I've actually done something. And when you look back, and that's reflection is necessary, and also celebrate those small things. Because yes, you did it for somebody else, but celebrate that you actually stepped outside of your own zone and you actually went to do something for somebody else. It's very important. We talked about it. And you know, once you take control of your life, once you start reflecting, as it is in this chapter, and there is a lot of personal growth happening throughout this book. which steps on top of that. But once I feel that, and it happened to me too. Once I started at 17, once they told me enough is enough, and I started control of my life. It didn't happen overnight, but success doesn't happen overnight, and to take control of your life. But it starts with the decision that enough is enough, that I don't want to live the rest of my life the way I did so far. And so far, I mean, you can't rewrite the past, but today is a new chapter starting, and you can write the rest of your book yourself. And the best story ever told is your story. And you know, and I think that's very important, that for me as well. I felt like when everything goes back to me, to that when I was maybe bullied, it was for me maybe a message that for me to be prepared, to get prepared. It was something I had to get through to get to age 17, to decide that what was more important for me. And this has been a journey for me, but it's my journey. And I felt that one decision at 17 has impacted me to this day. What decision can you make today to make sure that the rest of your life is going to have a similar or greater impact, or any impact at all that is positive in your life and those around you?
Brilliant. Absolutely. Stunning. What else I could say? Unless Arthie wants to add anything with it. You know, I think you have said it all, right? Adding value, add value, and that's what it is matter most today. So, can we invite our students and whoever actually inside the Zoom session, anybody, please jump into. We want to see your face. Come and open your video and come inside us with us. Let's ask a question that you have. And there is a question on the Facebook. I don't know, like this. I mean, yeah, I know. Anup Borua, how can someone be a speaker like you? Or what's the preliminary step to be? so that's how you want to address this? You know, if somebody wants to be speaker like you.
Do you know what? I think that is a stunning question, because Jan is busy working on launching his JR Speakers Club. So one of the important things is young people, and even it doesn't matter where you're at in your life. One of the key things I feel would be stunning is first to work on your intention for speaking. And your intention for speaking is always, you can always work out and find the techniques to speak. But what I'm finding that the people that influence you, motivate you, and touch your life are the people who, when they speak with intention, and when the words flow through them, it is to move them from where they're at to where they deserve to be in their lives. So when you're a speaker, what is your intention and what is your message that you want to bring to people? How do you want to impact them, and how do you want to grow through the process? Where will this take you in your life? And when you actually work that out, you will find that to become the speaker is the simple part. And Jan can guide you through all of that beautifully. But from my side, I always look at, how do you use the power of your words to touch the lives of other people?
Yes, and I think that's very important. And as I mean, I have no pieces of paper in here, a script, because I found out, and Les Brown said it actually to me. We were at a get-together one time where Les was training, and there was another group of people there, and most of them had scripts, and they couldn't give feedback on their fellow people. They were all at 5 minutes on stage. They couldn't get feedback, and he was wondering why. And then we had some private sessions after that. And I asked him the question, I says, what kind of scripts do you write for yourself? And he said, what script? And that's when he understood. He says, that's why these people couldn't give feedback, because they were so busy trying to impress me and learn their script that they didn't have time to look at the other people. And I always found it difficult to speak from a script. I mean, there's certain groups where you need scripts because you have a very small period of time. But he showed me, we talk about speaking from your heart, and I do that. But before you can speak from your heart, you need to have something in your head. You know, and then I thank the person asking how can you become a speaker like that, and I hope you're going to be much better than that. But you know, it is. Les Brown says, "Speakers speak." It's a one rule. If you don't speak, then you don't become a speaker. You know, so. But it is very important that you start writing down. I think everybody, and this is my passion, because I think everybody's got a story, and there's a lot of young people who've got stories that other young people and older people need to hear, but especially their peers, that can inspire them and motivate them to do more and be more. Now, I say to people is, what you need to start doing at any age, start journaling. That is a fancy way of just start writing down some notes. If you have an idea of a story, if you remember stories from your life already, write them down. Because the one great thing, and if you notice, I use my own personal experience in this. That makes it better than just taking somebody's book and doing that. But we all have stories, and if we don't write them down, we forget most of them. I didn't do for a long time, and even today I think about, hey, that happened to me. That's a good story I can use to make a point. So start writing things down. Start looking at the journey you want to go. I mean, we don't all want to be the same speakers or the same lane of speakers. There is a wide variety, and with online, you can become more like a trainer or a facilitator or whatever it is. But what kind of speaker? And study them. I studied John Maxwell. I studied Les Brown. I studied Edward Thomas. I studied Nick Vujicic. I studied Zig Ziglar, Dale Carnegie. I study many and do today. And it is not because... yes, I can speak, but I can always become better and always learn more from others. And I love it when you speak, because you also speak from the heart. So I learn from you. I learn with you. And what I'm saying is we can all learn from each other. But if we want to be a speaker, we need to have, first of all, find opportunities, even if you're in education, find somewhere in your education department you can speak in front of find a subject you can talk about and just talk. You know, it'll get better. Your first time is never the best. I say sometimes my last time wasn't my best, but we learn, and we can only learn by failing forward. So start writing down your passion. Really write down what your passion is, the kind of stories you want to tell. Start writing anecdotes, stories, funny things, all the things you can remember and you see that might help you in building your stories. Because I also help crafting this kind of stories, and then start talking. Les Brown, for example, he loves talking so much. He was with Paul Martinelli, who was the president of the John Maxwell team, at a summit one time, and they had the afternoon free. That's just another story, but they had the afternoon free, and Paul Martinelli, who's another amazing speaker, even though he had a stammer, and people told him he could never. Who do you think you are? You never. And he's amazing. We know him, and he went to rest in his hotel room, watched through some channels, some movies and stuff, and he met Les Brown for dinner at 6 o'clock before they had to go to the event. And he says, Les, did you enjoy your rest? What he did was he actually never rested. He went to the local prison and went to talk in the prison for free to people in prison, because he said, that even in prison there is possible doctors and psychiatrists and Einsteins in there. They've just had a wrong path, but they also deserve, if they don't get this kind of information from us, what will they get? So he loved it so much. He used to speak in pubs, he used to speak in clubs, he used to and to go to a prison, even though he is already speaking at nighttime. What I'm saying is that is a great example that he practices what he preaches and speaks. And so that's there is a lot of advice I can give, but some of the basic advice is right here, what Arthie said as well. And just make that decision, follow through by action, and every day reflect, what did you speak about, what did you create, and how can we become better.
If I want to add, I'm sure Arthie, you have something to add here as well. You want to add now, Arthie? You're an amazing speaker. Yep. Just tell us.
I see there's two important questions that's come through that is very important for Jan to answer, because I think that would be brilliant if he could answer the question. If I can read it out, the person says, I become afraid when I have to tell something in front of people. Most of the time I forget what to say. How can I overcome from this problem? And I think that's an excellent question. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes,
So
thank you very
how's
much.
your feeling?
Sadia.
Sadia. Yeah,
Okay. No, but she's proper.
That's
yeah,
somebody
yeah,
else.
Sadia. Yep.
Yeah, same one. So you can put the second question in there.
The second question
Yeah.
is, sometimes I feel frightened talking to others, what they will think and react. I'm trying to get rid of it, but every time I think something is holding me back. So what should I do in this perspective?
Yes, and the combination of the both is it actually speaks the truth. See, what we are led to believe first of all is a lot of negative stuff. We think we're not good enough. It's and that's why I'm glad you're joining us, because one thing you need to do about speaking is personal development, because whether it's speaking, whether it's coaching, whether it's sales, whether it's training, whether it's becoming a business leader or a leader in any field, it takes personal development. And speaking is no different. So I'm glad you're here. You've already taken a very important step, even though you might not realize it at the moment. But people, and I've had people laughing at me. I've made mistakes, and sometimes I think I used to think, what am I doing here? You know, am I really cut out for this? And what does that do? We start doubting ourselves because of our past experiences. Maybe you've had times in the past, and then what happens on top of that? People start saying public speaking is the biggest fear in most people's life. It's people fear this more than dying. Now, and then they make a funny joke of it. They said, so that means if you had to do a eulogy for one of your family members or friends, you would rather be in the coffin than stand beside it. Now, I don't know about you, but I never want to be in the coffin. I would rather stand beside it and make a fool of myself. You know, but I mean, because of those kind of things, it doesn't help us when we have those fears. And the fears are, I'm not saying they're unreal, because they're based on something. And you need to find out what it is, what your particular fear is, because yours is different than mine and different than Kamrul or different than Arthie's. And Arthie and Kamrul are also amazing speakers. And I've heard Arthie speak to groups of people where she gets a standing ovation when sometimes nobody else does. But I mean, when you talk about this and how can I overcome this problem? One of the biggest way to overcome fear is simply action. Action cures any fears. And you know, and then you're talking about that you're forgetting something, and that is normally much worse when you have a script that you need to follow. And I had this when I used that script. My biggest fear was going blank in front of people. And why was it the biggest fear? Because I thought it would make me look stupid. But really what it does, it makes me look human. Because we all have things that happen. But I mean, it is so important, because I feel your pain and I feel your fear. But it only got better when I started taking action. It only got better as I developed myself more. Find out there is amazing, even books available about public speaking, but personal development. This is one of your best guides to develop yourself, because it talks about self-esteem. It talks about reflection. It talks about mirror. It talks about the law of the rubber band later on, where, you know, once stretched, it never goes back to normal, but it's only effective when it's stretched. So that means we need to stretch ourselves. You've recognized, congratulations, you recognize that you have a fear, and you also are humble enough to ask the question. Two very important things in life, because many people never do it, and that's the ones who take it to the grave. But you are not going to do that, because you've already asked these questions. And when you said, every time I think something is holding me back, you need to find out what that something is. I don't know that, but you need to actually, it's this whole reflection we've been talking about. I hope you got some, and if you've got the book, read it in there and find out what is holding you back. And that's what you need to find out. And sometimes it is the first part you talked about is the fear. And we all know it, fear means false evidence appearing real. There's positive connotations as well. But the biggest thing I can help you with, not knowing more about it, is take action. You know, when you have a script, if you are, and that's why I'm saying to the previous question as well, when you start want to become a speaker, you need to get to know. If you want to speak from your heart, you need to know what you're talking about. And you might not always get it right, but nobody else knows what you were going to speak about. I've heard, I was on a Toastmasters last Saturday, and I was the Zoom master, they call them now, because we're online. And somebody apologized for forgetting something. Now, if he hadn't apologized, we would never have known, because we didn't know what he was going to talk about anyway. But we
Right.
feel that we have that responsibility to ourselves and others. So think about what the fear really is. And if you have something that you're knowledgeable about or become more knowledgeable about, speak where you're at. So you don't have to speak about something you don't know about yet, but speak about what you can already, and keep adding to that and say, oh, I want to speak about more of this and more. And then learn it and practice this, because practice is also a great thing. You can practice at home, in front of the dog, in front of your mobile phone. Maybe some family members will listen. But the biggest thing is, find out what is holding you back and don't let it ever stop you, because it might be other people. And I love another thing is, don't let other people's opinion ever become your reality. You have it within you. You want to go and speak. Don't let anybody ever stop you. The only one who can really stop you is the person looking in the mirror. I hope that helps.
Absolutely. I want to just add one, with all this, Arthie is going to add also one little experiment that I do. Small one, very small. And what is that? Like, it could be somebody wants to become a very professional speaker, or somebody wants to be something else, XYZ. Whatever it is, I want to ask everybody now, think what you want to become 15 years from now. Just think in the mind, wild imagination, and just close your eyes and think whatever you want to become after 20 years from now. The highest position, if it is a speaker, so who that speaker is, it is Barack Obama, it is Malala Yousafzai, or it is Jack Ma, or it is Elon Musk. Think about it, just think, imagine that. And then now, just on your closed eye, just give an opinion, advice to your younger self, who is 15 years or 20 years back. Now you're coming back. You have traveled 20 years. You have imagined the best version of yourself, whatever that you want to become. And then now you are advising to your younger self what you want him to do. Just think about it. If you want to be a billionaire businessman, think and imagine that you are a billionaire like anybody in this world. Like, you name and people like, Jeff Bezos to to Microsoft, Bill Gates to Weber. I don't know. I'm a billionaire too. Just joking. So that's what I think. And then give your younger self advice today. What you want him to do from tonight, you would get the answer. That's what I understand. I don't know many things. I know with this very small thing, I advise myself the next possible step to do mistake today and be vulnerable. People will laugh. You cannot do it. And then you got to have guts to absorb this. Your skin has to be tougher.
Yeah, and as you also know from a friend, when you have that picture, hold that image.
Right, hold that image, and then talk back to your younger self. Talk back what you want him to do now. That's the most real advice you would get on closed eyes. And then you got to feel, yes, you have achieved that state, that mental state in 20 years. And then when you talk to your younger self, imagine and believe that you will get the best possible advice in this earth and planet ever, because it's you who is giving you that advice, imagining you have achieved everything. That's what I wanted to add. Arthie.
I did this. I was envisioning as you were talking, and my advice is two simple things. Be a rebel. So be a rebel and then question everything. That would be my advice to my younger self to achieve what I deserve to be 15 to 20 years from now. I know that because to be a rebel means that you do not lie complacent, listening to everybody's stories. And what you do is you choose the path that you deserve. So you rebel against other people's thinking and other people's belief. Question everything, because I learned from a long time ago. So my current self learned from my younger self a very massive lesson. is that not all adults are right. And in our culture and our belief system and being taught to respect unconditionally, I realized that not all adults are right and they don't always know everything. As much as they like to impose their beliefs and their behavior on us as young people. So when I was younger, they would always say, you must do this because I told you to, because you will do this because, and I thought that was programming. And so when you take a step back, your future self can only grow when you question everything you've been taught that limits you. You need to use common sense. There are rules and behaviors put in place to help to guide us to have the best life, but not all rules is there to support us on that journey. And you know, two or three things that I learned from speaking in front of people. I never wanted to. I still don't. But the thing that I found really helps is if you Google something called a power pose. Now, these are practical skills. You do power pose in the bathroom. Yes, you open up your whole body language. You grow your energy. You take on that powerful pose like a superhero, and you pump yourself up with positive, powerful words. And you say things in your mind and to yourself before you walk in to do that talk or to that meeting. And you say to yourself, I am going to be the most eloquent, beautiful, well-spoken person there. I remember every single thing I'm going to talk about because my intention is to impact the lives of people right now. Beautiful words flow through me because I know that what I have to say matters. I believe and I value the people I'm talking to because they are valuable. Now, when you say words like that, what you're doing is you are encouraging yourself, you're changing your self-talk, you're building your energy and your beliefs. And then when you walk into a room, your energy is so high that people it doesn't really matter what you say. People are then engaged by you as the human being walking in. And when somebody says, I don't know what's holding me back, the simplicity of the question is it's yourself.
Absolutely.
Stop looking everywhere else of I'm trying to work out what's holding me back. It's yourself. You don't have to think about this. It's not brain surgery. It's yourself. And the reason I say this is because you've got choice. If you say you are worried about what other people say and how they're going to react, who cares? Start to get that rebellious statement in your head of who cares what they say. Because at the end of the day, you should care about yourself and what you're about to say and be intentional that your words are meant to be powerful and thoughtful, gentle and kind. And if you can work from that level of compassion for yourself, it doesn't matter if you get stuck. Doesn't matter if you can't remember. Just keep quiet. Be quiet in your mind just for 5 to 10 seconds. Say to yourself, what I'm about to do is meant to change their lives. And the words start to flow through you again. And in that pause, people believe that you have made that pause intentionally. And it is. It's intentionally for you to reinstill and reaffirm that your words are powerful and worth it. Because remember, at the end of the day, you matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just I want to ask everybody, just please come forward and ask questions. And then 3 step. Are you interested? Are you committed? Or are you obsessed? If you ask yourself, anybody and everybody, you'll get the answer. Interested? Okay, I'll do it. So if I get chance. Committed? I must do it. Obsessed. Obsession is different than also committed. Committed means, yes, I will do it. Obsession means, in any way, I will do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what others thinking. It doesn't matter what outside is happening. It doesn't matter. That's an obsession. That's a madly in love. And madly, that's far different level than interested and then committed. Obsession, it matters. Once you're obsessed, you can climb tonight mountain. Any mountain you can think about, you will go there. And that's your friend, Jan's friends, and my friend, like Les Brown said, you got to be hungry for that. So that's the obsession. Don't you think? Like, are we obsessed in everybody? Yes, we want, we're interested, but are you obsessed? If you're obsessed, it won't let us sleep in the night unless we work onto it. That's what simple my way of expressing this funny way, but yeah, it's but we are actually not obsessed. Everybody not truly.
Yeah, and that's when you say, of course, I will until, and then that's you fill in yourself, and it's interest is a nice to have. There's plenty of people who have an interest in what the CKH network is doing, but and it would be nice to be even part of it, but they're just watching, they're observing, they're spectators of life. And then there's people who are committed and they're in. I mean, it is refreshing to see already people saying this online as well and say that they're committed, because when you mentioned that you can climb any mountain, but you can't climb any mountains on your slippers and a pair of shorts. You need the right tools, and that's why
right.
This is one of the right tools. It's not all of them, but it's one of them, and that's why the CKH network has brought this to you and brought us in, and we're partnering with them because we have a real interest to help each and every one. You are at least already committed enough to be here for this session, and you probably have been at the last session, and hopefully you'll come back next week as well. And when you like and share it, you bring friends with you because you're committed to your growth. And again, that means that I congratulate each and every one of you, and also think that it is much better. It works much better when you do this together, because they say teamwork makes the dream work. But teamwork, when you work with other people and you can discuss this with others, whether it's in your family or just on friends, when you can do this, we actually quite often do this. We read something, whether it's an article, and then we talk about this afterwards, because reading an article or reading a book and putting it on the shelf is meaningless. It is better than reading the news. I get that, but I mean, it is a very slow process. If you think that you're just going to read this book and don't take any action, and hopefully by osmosis, eventually some of it actually gets in here, and you're going to grow, you're going to have to wait a long time. It's a Chinese saying, man who stands on side of mountain with mouth open, waiting for fried duck to fly in, wait long time. It's a silly saying, but I mean, it is exactly that. We need to not only, we have made a decision, we're here. Now, what action are you going to take even in the next week? When we come back next week, we'll talk about something different. What action are you going to take in the next week to make sure that there is at least some impact already? And it doesn't have to be a big thing. Every small thing every week will make a difference, and all those small things, like the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. These steps are the steps you take on your journey of the personal growth and personal development, and to become all you ever wanted to be, all you can be. Because to this day we don't know yet what the mind of man is capable of, yet we always limit ourselves. It should be the other way around. If we don't know what the mind is capable of, we should have all these creative things, and we all want to do things, but we limit ourselves. Free yourself from the shackles of limitation. Join us on this, and we want to walk that journey with you.
Absolutely. It's always better to have somebody as a mentor and guide who has traveled the path, and who can give us the way through. And then we are not going to break our leg going towards the same path where there is a hole. What's the use of getting into the hole and breaking the leg where somebody has broken already, and let's just take his guidance, because we have broken our legs and ankles and shoulderings, and we'll not you let into the same holes, right? That's what I think, that's what, because people don't realize even. So people don't. So those who realize this, because we take this, because we are walking towards, and sometimes we don't see the hole, and we fall in, and then we wake up and get up, and then again it starts walking, and then again you fall in. But 10 times falling in, and then somebody who has fallen in 10 times, it's better to have him into the journey so that I can avoid at least 9 holes. It would save time and effort and energy.
Tell the person to actually open their eyeballs and stop jumping in the hole.
Okay.
Because have you heard the saying, you got to break down to break through? And there are a lot of people at that point in their lives right now when they've been breaking down for so long, in so many ways, emotionally, from lack of support, from people talking down to them, lack of structure, infrastructure, lack of electricity, food, clothes, everything that we take for granted. And we don't know how people are emotionally breaking down. And so it makes sense that, staying there is a choice. When you've gotten to that point, reaching out to people and being more supportive, exactly as you say, for somebody who keeps falling into that hole. And if you are at that point where you can lend a hand and even shine a light on that dark hole that they keep falling into, that they're not aware that they're doing it. Because a lot of times people don't bring this stuff upon themselves. They're unaware. And I think that, to guide and support and be more gentle in the way we throw self-development at people, we need to also understand where they're at first. And because we've evolved and we read and we do stuff, doesn't mean that everybody's ready and at that point to receive. And so we need to be caring and gentle in how we encourage people and how we teach them persistence and how we get them to commit to themselves is by getting them to find their word, find out what is the best qualities that they have within themselves and start to develop that positive mindset so that they believe they're worth it. Because at the end of the day, when we're talking about let's add value to other people, could be just in the simplicity of a meaningful conversation to find out where they're at and how you can support them without forcing them.
Yeah.
And that's a very, very, very huge balance that when you're a motivational speaker and you're always inspirational, and once you learn something new, not to go beat up somebody and ask what is wrong with you. Change your thinking. You've got choice. And the person doesn't understand your journey. So I think come down to somebody else's level to bring them up to yours. And then make sure you're continuously developing in order to add value to them in that way.
Correct. So can we have some of our students on the house or whoever in the house, please come forward. We are about to close it. This is, I'm asking who wants to come forward and ask or just question, comments, anything. Mr. Apurva Sen, I'll talk to you personally. Your question, I'll address you. So who wants to come forward and show your guts and talk a bit with, hey, don't you like Mr. Jan Roberts? Sea is shining, is waiting for you, and Arthie Moore. So, so come in forward and just talk and say hello at least. Who wants to say hello? So come a bit, come forward. Open up your cameras and just say hello. If you don't have even any question. Don't feel shy. We're waiting for you. We want to talk, right? That's okay. Are you there? Right, a lot of people inside the house. Okay. So let's see who wants to come forward. We're hoping and praying, everybody, there's at least one person come forward and speak, at least. So who wants to say something?
Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. You have saved me. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank the great opportunity for us young people. So I have a question that before...
Your name and introduction, please.
Okay. I am Hassan Ahmed. I'm the final year student at Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman Science and Technology, Department of Management Studies.
Okay.
So I have a question that before the question, I am sharing something. Is this Corona time? I have training about leadership, teamwork, marketing, etc. But question that how can implement those knowledge in my practical life? This is my question.
Okay, so I haven't got it clearly. The questions, frankly speaking, it's got broken pieces. So I don't know whether you have heard it, Jan or Arthie.
I heard some pieces that he's learning stuff about leadership and teamwork and how he can use it practically in his life right now. Okay, but there was a few other things outside of teamwork and leadership that I've missed.
Okay. So you want to take it to respond to him?
I think in terms of leadership and teamwork, one of the things that I learned from traveling with communities is to be able to listen very carefully to people around you when you're looking for teamwork and to lead. Leadership meaning that you don't have to have a title and it doesn't matter who you're interacting with. It's the way that you lead yourself and the intentional way that you look at engaging with people meaningfully with the conversations. So when you want teamwork from people, you need to be able to guide them with questioning them about where they're at in their lives and how you can support them better, how you can, where they are battling and where they need more skills or more development. That's very important, because I find that when teams fall apart, the majority of the time is not that they don't want to help or they don't want to contribute. It's because they didn't know how, but they were too scared to ask. So if you are the type of leader who is vulnerable enough to say, hey, I don't know either, there's a process where you get people into a group and you share a problem and you allow them all to come up with solutions and nobody interrupts. What you're doing there is a think, listen, respond. So you're allowing somebody to ask the question, you think about it, you listen carefully, ask meaningful questions again, clarifying questions, and then you respond. Now, most times, what many leaders would do is they will come in and tell you what you've got to do and you have to do, and here's your team. Nobody stops long enough to ask, do you understand what my instructions were? Do you know how to do it? And how can I support you better? So I think that when you want to do this in a practical sense, use listening skills in a meaningful way, engage with people and ask them where you can assist them in terms of their development. Look at what skills people need or even yourself and make sure you upskill yourself. And then when you lead meaningfully, know that your word is not the final word. It needs to be inclusive. So an inclusive leader always takes everybody's voices into account. And the only way you can do that is by being approachable. So you create a safe environment for people to feel safe enough to engage with you so that they can come and say to you, I'm not going to reach that deadline. I don't know how to do this. Please help. And by those simple techniques, you're allowing people to showcase the best of themselves and you help to grow their potential, if that helps.
Absolutely. Why not?
Yes, thank you.
Looking forward, who else is looking forward to come forward? Just maybe one, and then we can close it up because it's, I think, for tonight. I'm waiting for, okay, Elizabeth. Hello
Hi,
and
how are you?
welcome, Elizabeth. Elizabeth
Thanks so much.
Butterfield. Welcome.
I guess I'm the only one that put my full name in. I'm all about
Thank
full
you.
disclosure, and I love Zoom meetings, and I wanted to know a little bit more if you could send me information. We're very familiar with John Maxwell and the teachings here in the States. So I'd love to join you at another meeting that come in at a different time.
Sure. Next week, same time, same place.
Is it an hour before this? I mean, so it's 1 hour?
It's 1 hour, 1.5 hour.
Yeah.
So next week, same day. So you can also participate via Zoom. So you are joining from which country, Elizabeth?
I'm from the US.
You're from US. Okay. So how did you get to the Zoom connection? I'm trying to connect with you, and then I can share with you the Zoom link.
I was invited by you, I believe, through the business connections that I'm part of through WhatsApp. There's roughly a couple of dozen of us exchanging information about different business supplies.
Okay. So since you are okay, so what I would do, can you just comment here so that I can get your email address so that I would send you the other information that would do. Any comments, to our guest tonight? And
well, are they John Maxwell? Are they the trainers from John Maxwell?
Yes, 3 of us, everyone. We are John Maxwell Certified Trainer, Speaker, and Coach. And the red shirt.
They're an exceptional program, and I have been to many different coaching programs. And I personally am not a John Maxwell coach, but I have every coaching seminar and every coaching person that I've taken their plan have been John Maxwell trained, and it's very exceptional.
Thank you for your comment. Yeah, yes, indeed.
And are you on the East Coast, Elizabeth? Are you on the East Coast?
I am in Florida, so I am on Eastern Standard Time, EST.
Okay, so that's actually 10 o'clock in the morning. That's for our 4 o'clock, and Kamrul's 8 o'clock. So 10 o'clock in the morning we start.
You're in Kabul?
Yeah, it's Kamrul.
Bangladesh.
I'm from Bangladesh, South Asia, and Ian and Arthie, they are in South Africa, and you are in the US.
Yeah.
Okay. Terrific. Okay, so it'll be 10 o'clock my time on Mondays?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, terrific.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, folks. I'll put my comments in the chat.
Yeah, and then I will send you the link before I will be connected with you. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for jumping into.
Thanks. See you soon.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Good. Anyone jump into the conversation?
There's another question, Kamrul.
Sure. Let me see it. Please say it. Read it. Okay.
It says, sir, if no one supports me, what should I need to do? Convince them or do it my way? But I think it's quite tough. Do it alone.
If no one is convinced, then it's you got to do it alone.
Yeah.
Because if you try all the time to convince some others, by the time everybody's convinced, you're done.
Do you know what I think would be even better? Stop depending on them to support you and get yourself a mentor to support you. Find yourself a mentor within CoachKamrul Hasan's network. I mean, and that is the whole point of the CKH network, is there to be a support system to everybody. So if the people in your immediate life are not supporting you, I've watched a number of CoachKamrul Hasan's updates and his Facebook lives, people he's interviewing. He's interviewing people from around the world who are amazing mentors, coaches, leaders, business people, CEOs. So my suggestion is you're not alone. You don't have to do it alone. Just get onto the CKH network and connect with people and say, I need support. So, I mean, when you think about it as well, there are people in our own lives who are not in the same level of expertise or thinking as us. So what you need to do is whatever lane you're in, whatever you're focusing in on, whatever your direction is, find like-minded people in other networks. There are millions of networks around the world. So if the physical people in your life are not supportive, find people around the world. The whole world is open to you in terms of that. You don't have to do this alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic. So anybody wants to thank at least to our guest before we conclude?
you.
So thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Elizabeth.
much.
Thank
So
you very much.
thank you. Anyone from, hello, yes? This, who is
Assalamualaikum,
this?
sir.
Walaikum salam. Switch, if you can switch on your camera, that would be really nice. Say hello to when a question, comments, if you can. Switch on your camera and show your face. That's even better. Fantastic. Say
hear
hello
you?
to,
Can you hear me, sir?
yeah, we can, absolutely.
Okay, I'm Sadia, studying engineering at Arthie Moore University of Science and Technology. I just wanted to thank you, sir, and ma'am, for my question answer. I had asked a question that you answered me, and I just feel motivated and wanted to thank you so much for this answer. And your words are so powerful that I'm feeling energetic now. That I wanted to thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're most
That's,
welcome.
Very welcome.
You're most welcome.
Thank you for
you're
the
most
question.
welcome.
Shukran.
Thank you for
Shukriya.
your presence, for your gracious presence. That means a lot. We got the energy, right? Everybody got it, right? We are laughing, everybody. Yes. See, you're laughing too. That's good. So that matters. Good, good. For giving us this some love and happiness for the moment. It matters truly. We cannot laugh. We forgot to laugh. And we,
That's the problem. I laugh all the time at everything and everybody. So life's too exciting to be so serious, right?
yeah, yeah.
We're also serious. We're forgetting to just enjoy this amazing life that we've got. I mean,
Yeah.
gratitude is one of the simplest things that we can have in life. Be grateful that we're able to see people, hear them, may not be able to touch them, but we can touch their lives with the power of our words. So it does not always have to be physical touch. And if you take that into your mind, you find the courage that you need to move forward all the time. Fear has no place then.
No,
Absolutely.
and that's good as well, because I mean, Sadia as well. You know, we need many more women speakers. This is a great woman speaker, but we need many more. And why not be the next one? You know, because you're now excited and empowered, and you can't be whatever you want to be.
She's saying something.
Sir, ma'am, one thing, from the first day I'm seeing you, I'm just started to following you, that how you talk, how you act. It's just inspiring to me. I just wanted to be like you one day.
Like Arthie.
Yes. See, role model.
When I grow up, I want to be like me too.
Yeah, but you can also, Arthie is actually writing a book about the compassionate leader of influence. So, you know, it's all about compassion, and you can see why she needed to write that book. Because, you know, she's speaking about compassion, and she's speaking compassionately all the time. So it is only natural that this book is coming out later this year. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I want to read it because I hear her speak.
I want to read it too.
Because I hear her speak all the time, and it's just, it blows my mind. I learn a lot. See, we have the pleasure as well that we learn a lot from each other, and we talk a lot together. And I'm learning a lot when we're in training or when Arthie's speaking. I'm the photographer and the videographer, but I love it all the time. So we can learn from each other, and it doesn't matter age, gender, background, race. We can always learn from each other and with each other, and that's how we should do it.
Good. So you see here, more women than men. 2 of us and 4 is women. See, this already filled up, right? Is there any?
I have to jump
leaders.
off. Thank you all. I have a 12
Elizabeth.
o'clock.
Thank
See
you,
you
Elizabeth.
soon.
Thank you. I got your email. I'll mail it.
Elizabeth.
See you.
Bye.
So bye
Bye-bye.
bye. Anyone else wants to jump into inside the room? Let's have fun and say hello, like Sadia. She had the courage and confidence. Who else wants to? If nobody, then we will cry or we'll then leave. Okay. So,
I'm smiling and laughing like this. I don't know how to pretend to cry, man.
so there are a lot of women here, a lot of who wants to say hello? So just say hello and save us and then say goodbye. Who wants to conclude tonight? I want to give the responsibility, somebody to conclude tonight and say thanks, well wishes and everything. Let me see. Hello, and let us. Okay, Sadia is here, Sajia Jahan, and who else? There are so many. Okay, Strajat Bani. Okay, no matter, doesn't matter. We are about to close. I hope you got something. You got some hope, aspirations. You got some love at least. If not anything else, at least that's free. Please laugh at least, and then we can enjoy our life because it's not ending. At least we are alive. So I want to thank you, Jan and Arthie, for being part of this and for being with us, for sharing us and guiding us, showing us the path. What else we can expect?
I think more intriguing conversations, more enlightening direction, and I think more incredible focus. But more than that, tremendous support from all three of us to every single person on these platforms.
Absolutely. Jan, your closing remarks.
Well, I've talked enough, I think, as well, but it's wonderful to be on this platform and to have the opportunity to share with people, and the fact that they come and say hello and ask some questions. That means that they're not only listening, but they're engaging. And I would say to everybody who's still on the platform, like and share this, because we want to grow this platform so we can learn much more with you and share much more with you. And the more of us are together, somebody already said it, it's lonely when you have to do it on your own. Now we're here as a community, so we can actually help you, support you, add value to it, but at the same time you do the same for us by being here and by asking questions and by just even saying hello. It means a lot to us too. So look forward to next week, and there's going to be a lot more from this wonderful book and others like it. But this is where we're at just now, and personal development is indeed so important to each and every one of us.
Yes. Thank you so much. I want to thank you, everybody who is in the house, who has spoken and also who hasn't, doesn't matter. Those who haven't, you will, maybe someday. We're looking forward. And those who have conversed, communicated, connected through the questions, comments, it means a lot because you have spent some of your time with us together. And that's what we're trying to build, a community together so that we can grow, we can survive and thrive. Doesn't matter what is outside, because we don't want to be controlled by outside situations. We want to be controlled by our intrinsic values, hope and aspirations. And I believe and I hope that only the hope remains us busy. And let us be focused, not only by being busy. That's the last call. Let us be focused on our goals, life, and being purposeful on this earth and planet. Tonight being wonderful to all of you, and looking forward more wonderful sessions coming together. Everyone on the Facebook, bye-bye for tonight, and looking forward to see you tomorrow with something else probably. Arthie, Jan, Key Leadership Institute, and everybody from around the world, a small part of the world or wherever you are, everybody, at least say hello and love. May God bless all of you together, all of us.
Thank you.
And tiny person behind you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Everybody,
Bye-bye.
take care. Take care. Shahriar. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where last for the photo?
Where have you been? So,
I was there.
okay. Okay.
Hello, Arthie
Okay.
and Len. Yeah, how are you? So just on behalf of CKS Network, I would just request everyone to switch on your video and come in live so that we can capture this fantastic moment.
So this.
Yeah, everyone, let's give a thumbs up. Yeah.
Show it like this.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone. And again,
Good.
it's immense pleasure to listen from you again. So this is a fantastic lesson from 50
goodbye.
Laws of Growth. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See you.
Take care.
See you all.
Goodbye.